Hey, everyone. Get ready, because I've got an awesome story for you today. It's all about a guy named Marcus Jones and a crazy day on an airplane. Picture this, it's a super busy morning at Gate 17 in a big airport. People are everywhere, dragging their suitcases, chatting, and trying to get on the plane. The plane is filling up fast, and everyone's rushing to find their seats. It's noisy, it's crowded, and it feels like a big mess. But in the middle of all that, there's Marcus Jones. He's just a regular looking guy, trying to get to his spot on the plane. And trust me, this day is about to get wild. Marcus is tall, like, really tall. He's got a friendly smile that makes you feel like he's a nice guy. He's wearing a comfy hoodie and some jeans. Nothing fancy at all. If you saw him, you'd think, oh, he's just another person going on a trip. He doesn't look rich or important. He doesn't have shiny shoes or a big, loud voice. Nope, Marcus is quiet. He keeps his head down, holding tight to his boarding pass, that little piece of paper that tells him where to sit. He's ready for a nice, easy flight. Maybe he's thinking about watching a movie or taking a nap. Who knows? But one thing's for sure, nobody on that plane knows the real Marcus. Not yet. See, Marcus isn't just some random guy. Oh no. He's got a secret, a big one. But he's not telling anyone. He's not bragging or showing off. He's just walking through the crowd, blending in with everyone else. Most people don't even notice him. They're too busy with their own stuff, grabbing bags, finding seats, or talking on their phones. To them, Marcus is invisible. Just another face in a sea of people. But here's the fun part, they're so wrong about him. They have no idea who he really is. And soon, they're all going to find out in the most surprising way. It's a normal day at the airport, or at least, it starts that way. The sun is shining outside, and the big windows let light pour into Gate 17. The plane is parked right there, waiting for everyone to climb on. It's one of those huge planes with lots of seats, the kind that flies to faraway places. People are lining up, showing their tickets, and walking down that long tunnel to get inside. Kids are running around, parents are yelling, and workers are shouting stuff like, "Boarding for flight 204 now." It's loud and crazy, but Marcus doesn't mind. He's cool and calm, just waiting his turn. When it's time, Marcus steps into line. He's got his boarding pass in his hand, and he's ready to go. He's not pushing or rushing. He's patient. He smiles at the person checking tickets, a lady with a blue uniform and a tired face. She barely looks at him. "Next," she says, waving him through. Marcus nods and keeps walking. He's thinking, okay, this is it. Just another flight. He's got no clue that this day is about to turn upside down. And it's all because of one person, one lady who's about to make everything crazy. So, who's this lady? Well, she's a flight attendant on the plane. Her name doesn't matter yet, we'll call her something later. But let me tell you, she's not like Marcus. She's not quiet or nice. Nope. She's got a sharp tongue, like, her words can cut you. She's loud and bossy, and she acts like she's in charge of everything. Her attitude? It's bigger than the whole plane. Bigger than the airport, even. She walks around like she owns the place, telling people what to do and snapping at anyone who gets in her way. And guess what? She's about to meet Marcus. And when she does, oh boy, things are going to get exciting. Let's set the scene a little more. The plane is big, right? It's got rows and rows of seats, tons of them. There's a skinny aisle down the middle, and people are squeezing through with their bags. Some seats are by the window, where you can look out and see the clouds. Some are in the middle, where you're stuck between two strangers. And some are by the aisle, where you can stretch your legs a little. Marcus has a seat picked out already, it's on his boarding pass. He's not asking for anything special. He just wants to sit down, relax, and fly to wherever he's going. Simple, right? Well, it should be. But with this flight attendant around, nothing's going to be simple today. Marcus finally gets inside the plane. It smells like coffee and airplane food. The air is cool, and the lights are bright. People are stuffing their bags into those little compartments above the seats. Someone's arguing about space. "That's my spot," a guy yells. A baby's crying a few rows back. It's all normal stuff, nothing weird yet. Marcus finds his row. It's number 12, seat B. That's his spot. He checks his boarding pass one more time, just to be sure. Yep, 12B. He's got it right. He steps into the row, ready to sit down and chill. He's not making a fuss. He's not loud. He's just a guy trying to start his trip. But then bam, here comes the flight attendant. She's walking fast down the aisle, her shoes clicking on the floor. Her uniform is neat, but her face? It's all frowns. She's got her hands on her hips, and her eyes are sharp, like she's looking for trouble. She spots Marcus standing there by his seat. And for some reason, she doesn't like it. Maybe it's because he's tall. Maybe it's because he's quiet. Maybe she's just having a bad day. Who knows? But she stops right in front of him and stares. Marcus looks back, still smiling a little. He's not scared. He's not mad. He's just waiting to see what she says. And what does she say? Oh, you'll find out soon. But let's just say it's not nice. It's not friendly at all. She's about to open her mouth and start something big, something that's going to change everything on this plane. Marcus doesn't know it yet, but this moment is the beginning of a huge adventure. And that secret he's hiding? It's going to come out in the most amazing way. But I'm not telling you what it is yet. You've got to keep listening to find out. It's going to be so cool, I promise. Now, imagine you're on that plane with Marcus. You're sitting a few rows away, watching all this happen. What do you think? Is Marcus just a regular guy, or is something special about him? What's he hiding? Maybe he's a superhero in disguise. Maybe he's a secret spy. Or maybe he's someone even more surprising. Any guesses? I bet you're curious. And what about that flight attendant? Why's she so mean? What's her problem? We're going to dig into all of that as the story goes on. So stick with me, it's going to be a fun ride. Let's rewind a tiny bit. Before Marcus even got to the plane, he was just a guy having a normal morning. Maybe he woke up early, brushed his teeth, and grabbed some breakfast. Maybe he packed his bag and checked his phone. Time to go, he might have said to himself. He didn't know anything big was coming. He didn't know he'd meet someone like that flight attendant. He was just living his day, step by step. And that's how it starts, just a regular day that turns into something huge. Isn't that wild? It makes you wonder what could happen on your own day, right? Back at gate 17, the line to board the plane is still moving. Marcus is almost at the front now. He's got his hoodie zipped up and his boarding pass ready. He's not nervous. He flies a lot, maybe. Or maybe he's just good at staying calm. Either way, he's not sweating it. The lady checking tickets waves him through, and he steps into that tunnel thing, the one that connects the gate to the plane. It's a little wobbly under his feet, but he keeps going. He's thinking about his seat, 12B. He's thinking about sitting down and relaxing. He's got no idea what's waiting for him inside. The tunnel is long and narrow. It's got little windows, so you can see the side of the plane as you walk. Marcus glances out one of them. The plane is shiny and white, with the airline's name painted on it in big letters. It's a cool sight, but he doesn't stop to stare. He keeps moving, following the people in front of him. He can hear the hum of the plane's engine starting up. It's a low, rumbly sound that makes the floor shake a little. Almost there, he thinks. He's so close to the door of the plane now. Just a few more steps. And then he's in. He steps through the door, and the cool air hits him. The flight attendants are standing there, saying, "Welcome aboard," to everyone. Well, most of them are. One of them, the one with the sharp tongue, isn't smiling. She's already looking around, like she's ready to boss someone around. Marcus doesn't notice her yet. He's too busy finding his way to row 12. He walks past the first few rows, 1, 2, 3, counting as he goes. The plane's getting full now. People are settling in, buckling their seat belts, and pulling out their phones. It's a normal flight so far. But normal doesn't last long, not with Marcus on board. He's special, even if no one knows it yet. He's got that secret tucked away, like a surprise gift waiting to be opened. And that flight attendant? She's the one who's going to unwrap it without even meaning to. She's going to start something she can't stop. And when it all comes out, everyone on that plane is going to be shocked. Marcus, too, maybe. Because even he might not expect how big this gets. Let's zoom in on Marcus for a second. He's standing by row 12 now. He's got his boarding pass in one hand and his little backpack in the other. It's not a big bag, just enough for a short trip. He's not carrying tons of stuff. He's simple like that. His hoodie's a dark blue color, and his jeans are faded, like he's worn them a lot. His shoes are sneakers, black ones with white soles. He looks comfy, not fancy. If you saw him, you wouldn't think, wow, that guy's important. You'd think, oh, he's just a regular person. And that's exactly what he wants you to think for now. He slides into his row. Seat 12B is by the aisle, so he doesn't have to climb over anyone. That's nice, he likes having a little space. He sets his backpack under the seat in front of him and sits down. The seat's not super soft, but it's okay. He leans back, getting comfy. He's still holding his boarding pass, just in case. He glances at it again. Yep, 12B. He's in the right spot. He smiles a little, happy to be settled. The plane's still boarding, so people are walking past him, bumping into his arm sometimes. He doesn't mind. He's chill. Outside, the airport workers are busy. They're loading bags into the bottom of the plane and checking everything to make sure it's safe. Marcus can't see them, but he knows they're there. He's flown enough times to know how it works. The engines are getting louder now, the plane's almost ready to go. He looks out the window across the aisle. He can't see much from his seat, just the edge of the wing and some sky. That's fine, he's not here for the view. He's just ready to fly. But then oh, here she comes. The flight attendant with the attitude. She's moving down the aisle, checking on people. She's saying stuff like, put your bag up, and sit down already. She's not being sweet about it. Her voice is loud and grumpy. Marcus hears her getting closer. He doesn't look up yet, he's still relaxing. But she's almost to his row now. And when she gets there, she's going to see him. And she's not going to like something about him. What is it? Why him? You'll find out soon. It's going to be the start of everything. So, what do you think Marcus is hiding? Is he someone famous? Is he super smart? Or maybe he's got a job that's really important. I'm not telling you yet. You've got to keep listening. And what about that flight attendant? Why's she so mad? What's she going to do? This story's just getting started, and it's going to be so much fun. I promise it's worth it, there's a big surprise coming. So stick around, okay? Let's see what happens next. Okay, let's dive into the next part of this crazy airplane story. Things are about to get exciting. So, Marcus Jones, he's the tall guy with the friendly smile. Remember, he's finally on the plane. He's got his boarding pass in his hand, and he's walking down the skinny aisle to find his seat. The plane is full of people, all squeezing past each other with their bags. It's loud, with lots of talking and rustling noises. Marcus doesn't mind, though. He's cool and calm, just looking for his spot. He counts the rows as he goes 10, 11, and then there it is, row 12. His seat is 12B. He's ready to sit down and chill out. Marcus steps up to his row. It's by the aisle, so he doesn't have to climb over anyone. That's nice, right? He's holding his boarding pass, a little white paper that says 12B in big, black letters. He's sure he's in the right place. He looks at the seat, then back at his pass, just to double check. Yep, it's 12B. No problem. He smiles a little and gets ready to sit. He's polite, too, he doesn't push or shove. He's just a nice guy trying to start his trip. But then someone's about to make trouble. And that someone is the flight attendant. Let's call her Karen. She's not nice like Marcus. Nope, not at all. Karen's been walking up and down the aisle, bossing people around. She's got a loud voice and a mean look on her face. Her hair is pulled back tight, and her uniform is super neat, but her attitude, it's messy and rude. She's been saying stuff like, hurry up, and put your bag there, to everyone. People don't like it, but they're too busy to argue. Karen thinks she's the boss of the whole plane. And now, she's coming toward Marcus. She sees him standing by row 12, holding his pass. For some reason, She doesn't like him. Maybe it's his hoodie. Maybe it's his quiet way. Who knows? But she stops right in front of him and stares. Marcus looks up at her. He's still calm. He's not mad or scared. He just holds out his boarding pass and says, nice and polite, "Ma'am, this is my seat 12B. He points to the paper so she can see it. He's trying to be helpful. He doesn't want any trouble. But Karen? Oh, she's not having it? She snaps her head around fast, like Marcus just said something super rude. Her eyes get all narrow, and her mouth turns into a frown. Sir, she says, super loud, this isn't your seat. Her voice is sharp, like a teacher yelling at a kid who broke a rule. Everyone nearby hears it. Heads turn. People stop what they're doing and look. Marcus blinks. He's surprised, but he doesn't yell back. He's too nice for that. He just holds out his pass again, real slow, and says, "Ma'am, it says 12B right here." He's showing her proof. The paper's right there in his hand, clear as day. Anyone could see he's telling the truth. But Karen? She doesn't even look at it properly. She rolls her eyes big time, like she's so annoyed, and snatches the pass out of his hand. She holds it up, glances at it for half a second, and then scoffs. That's a sound like humph. Like she thinks Marcus is silly or dumb. I don't care what it says, she snaps. You're in the wrong spot. Move it. Whoa, right? That's so mean. Marcus is just standing there, being polite, and Karen's acting like he's a big problem. People around them start whispering. A lady a few seats back leans over to her friend and says, "What's her deal?" A guy across the aisle shakes his head, like he can't believe it. Everyone's watching now. Marcus's jaw tightens a little, when your teeth clench because you're trying not to get mad. He feels it, that little spark of unfairness. But he doesn't argue. Not yet. He's too smart for that. He just stands there, looking at Karen, waiting to see what she does next. Karen, though. She thinks she's won. She turns around, all proud, and struts away down the aisle. Her shoes go click 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 on the floor, loud and fast. She's muttering under her breath stuff like, "Some people," and "can't follow rules." She's talking to herself, but it's loud enough for Marcus to hear. She's sure she's right. She's sure Marcus is just some guy she can boss around. In her head, she's the queen of this plane, and he's nobody. She doesn't even look back at him. She's too busy feeling big and important. Oh, Karen, you have no idea how wrong you are. Have you ever met someone like that? Someone who acts like they own the world? Maybe at school, there's a kid who thinks they're better than everyone. Or maybe you've seen a grown-up like a teacher or a boss who talks down to people. That's Karen. She's loud and pushy, and she loves telling people what to do. But here's the thing, she picked the wrong guy to mess with. Marcus isn't just some random person. He's special. He's got a secret, a big one. And Karen's about to find out she made a huge mistake. But not yet. We're just getting started. Let's picture the scene again, okay? Marcus is still standing by row 12. His boarding pass is back in his hand now. Karen tossed it at him when she snatched it. He's looking at it, making sure it's still okay. It's a little crumpled, but it still says 12B. He knows he's right. The seat's empty, waiting for him. It's got a blue cushion and a little tray table folded up. It's his spot. But Karen's words are still ringing in his ears, "Move it." He takes a deep breath. He's not going to yell. He's not going to fight, not like that. He's smarter than that. He just stands there, thinking. Around him, the plane is buzzing. People are staring. A little kid a few rows up turns around in his seat and whispers to his mom, "Why is she so mad?" The mom shrugs and says, "SHH, just watch." An old man with glasses looks over and mutters, "Poor guy." Everyone's got their eyes on Marcus and Karen. It's like a show now, a little drama right there in the aisle. And Karen? She's the star, at least, she thinks she is. She's walking away, her head held high, like she just won a big prize. She doesn't care that people are whispering. She doesn't care that Marcus is still standing there. She thinks it's over. But it's not over. Not even close. Marcus isn't moving. He's not sitting down yet, either. He's just waiting. His jaw's still tight, but his eyes are calm. He's not scared of Karen. He's not worried. Why? Because he knows something she doesn't. That secret he's got, it's like a superpower, but not the flying kind. It's something that's going to turn this whole thing around. Karen thinks she's in charge, but she's not. She's walking right into a big surprise, and she doesn't even know it. Isn't that cool? It's like a game, and Marcus is playing it smart. Let's talk about Karen for a minute. She's not new to this job. She's been a flight attendant for a while, maybe years. She knows the plane like it's her house. She knows where the snacks are, where the emergency stuff is, and how to boss people around. She's good at that last part, maybe too good. She's got a walkie-talkie clipped to her belt, and she uses it to talk to the other workers. She's always barking orders, like, close the door, or get the drinks ready. The other flight attendants don't argue with her. They just nod and do what she says. Karen likes that. She likes being the boss. But today, something's off with her. Maybe she woke up grumpy. Maybe she spilled coffee on herself before work. Or maybe she just doesn't like people who don't jump when she snaps her fingers. Whatever it is, she's extra mean right now. And Marcus? He's the one she's picking on. She didn't even give him a chance. She saw him, decided he was wrong, and started yelling. She didn't check his pass properly. She didn't listen. She just attacked. And now she's walking away, thinking she's so smart. Oh, Karen, you're in for a shock. Back to Marcus. He's still by his seat. The whispers around him are getting louder. A lady in a red shirt a few rows back says, "That wasn't fair." Her husband nods and says, "She didn't even look at his ticket." They're on Marcus's side already. They can tell something's not right. Marcus hears them, but he doesn't say anything. He's not here to make friends or start a fight. He's just trying to sit down and fly. But Karen's making that hard. Really hard. And the tension? It's growing. You can feel it in the air, like something big is about to happen. The plane's still on the ground, by the way. It hasn't taken off yet. The doors are closed now, and the workers outside are finishing up. The engines are rumbling, getting ready. But inside, it's all about Marcus and Karen. People are buckling their seat belts, but they're still watching. They want to know what's next. Will Marcus move? Will Karen come back? What's going to happen? It's like a movie, and everyone's waiting for the next scene. Even the air feels heavy, like it's holding its breath. Marcus looks down at his pass one more time. 12B. He's sure of it? He's not wrong. He knows it. But Karen's words are stuck in his head, "You're in the wrong spot." He could sit down anyway, he's got the right to. But he doesn't. Why? Because he's waiting. He's got a plan, or maybe he's just smart enough to let Karen mess up on her own. Either way, he's not giving up. He's not moving. He's standing his ground, quiet and strong. And that's what makes this so exciting. He's not loud or angry, but he's not weak, either. Karen's almost to the front of the plane now. She's still muttering, still acting like she's the best. She passes another flight attendant, a younger guy with a nervous smile. He looks at her, then at Marcus, like he's confused. "What's going on?" he whispers to himself. Karen doesn't stop to explain. She's too busy being mad. She thinks Marcus is going to slink away, embarrassed. She thinks he's going to find another seat or leave or something. She's so sure she's right. But she's not. She's so wrong. Let's think about this for a second. Why's Karen acting like this? Maybe she's had a bad day. Maybe she's tired of passengers asking questions. Or maybe she just likes picking on people who don't fight back. Marcus didn't yell. He didn't snap. He just showed her his pass and stayed calm. And that made her mad, like, really mad. She wanted him to argue, maybe, so she could yell more. But he didn't give her that. He's too cool for that. And that's driving her nuts. She doesn't know it yet, but she's digging a big hole for herself. The people watching? They're getting restless. A guy in a baseball cap a few rows up turns to his buddy and says, "She's rude, man." His buddy nods and says, Yeah, that guy didn't do anything. They're right, Marcus didn't. He's just trying to sit in his seat. But Karen's making it a big deal. And now, everyone's involved. It's not just Marcus versus Karen anymore, it's the whole plane watching, waiting, wondering. The tension's building, like a rubber band stretching tighter and tighter. Something's got to snap soon. Marcus takes another breath. He's still standing. His backpack's on the floor by his feet. He dropped it there when Karen started yelling. He could pick it up and move. He could give in. But he doesn't. His jaw's still tight, but his face is calm. He's not going to let Karen win, not like this. He knows he's right. He knows his seat is 12B. And he's got that secret, remember? That big thing he's hiding. It's still tucked away, waiting for the perfect moment. And Karen? She's about to find out what it is. But not yet. We're not there yet. So, what's the vibe like? It's tense. It's exciting. It's like when you're at school, and two kids are about to argue in front of everyone. You don't know what's going to happen, but you can't look away. That's what's going on here. Marcus is quiet, Karen's loud, and the whole plane's stuck in the middle. People are picking sides already. Most of them are with Marcus. They can see he's not the bad guy. Karen's the one causing trouble. And she doesn't even realize how much trouble she's in. Karen's at the front now. She's talking to someone on her walkie-talkie, probably complaining about that guy in 12B. She's still acting like she's the boss. She doesn't look back at Marcus. She doesn't care. She thinks it's done. But it's not. Marcus is still there, standing tall. He's not moving. He's not sitting. He's just waiting. And that's what makes this so good. He's not giving up. He's not letting her push him around. And soon, she's going to see why she should have been nicer. Have you ever seen someone act like Karen? Like they're better than everyone? It's annoying, right? You just want them to stop. And Marcus, he's the guy who's going to make that happen. Not with yelling or fighting, but with something way cooler. His secret's going to come out, and when it does, Karen's going to wish she'd kept her mouth shut. But for now, she's clueless. She's strutting around, thinking she's won. Oh, how wrong she is. This is just the start, and it's going to get so much better. Stick around, you don't want to miss what's next. Alright, let's keep this airplane story going. Things are getting even more exciting now. The plane's engines roared, and it started rolling down the runway. Everyone felt that little push as it picked up speed, zoom, and then, whoosh, it lifted off the ground. The big plane climbed into the sky, leaving the airport behind. The windows showed fluffy clouds and bright blue up above. People settled into their seats, buckling up and getting comfy. Some pulled out books or snacks. Others closed their eyes for a nap. It was a normal flight, at least, it looked that way. But the trouble between Marcus and Karen? Oh, that wasn't over. Not even close. Marcus was sitting in his seat, 12B, by the aisle. He'd finally sat down after Karen yelled at him earlier. His boarding pass was tucked into his pocket now, safe and sound. He was calm, like always, just looking out at the little bit of sky he could see from his spot. His dark blue hoodie was still on, and his backpack was under the seat in front of him. He wasn't making a fuss. He wasn't talking to anyone. He was just chilling. But Karen? She wasn't chilling. Not at all. She was still mad, like, really mad. Every time she walked by Marcus, she gave him a mean glare. Her eyes were sharp, like she wanted him to know she didn't like him one bit. See, Karen thought Marcus had ruined her day. She was still grumpy about that whole seat thing. She didn't believe 12B was his spot, even though his pass said it loud and clear. In her head, he was trouble. A problem. Someone she had to watch. So, she kept staring at him, her lips pressed tight together. Marcus could feel it, those angry looks, but he didn't stare back. He didn't give her the fight she wanted. He just sat there, cool as a cucumber. That made her even madder. She didn't like that he wasn't scared or upset. She wanted him to feel small, but he didn't. Not one bit. A little while into the flight, Marcus decided he was thirsty. The air in the plane was dry, and his throat felt scratchy. So, when Karen came down the aisle with her cart full of drinks, he raised his hand just a little, super polite, and said, "Can I have some water, please?" His voice was soft, not loud or pushy. He was being nice, like always. The lady next to him, an older woman with gray hair, smiled at him. She liked how polite he was. Karen, though. Oh no. She didn't like it at all. She stopped her cart, turned to Marcus, and hissed, "Wait your turn." Her voice was mean and snappy, like a dog barking at a stranger. But here's the funny thing, Karen had just handed a cup of water to the lady next to Marcus. Like, 2 seconds before. The lady was holding it in her hands, sipping it already. Everyone nearby saw it. Marcus saw it. The lady saw it. But Karen acted like Marcus was asking for something crazy. "Wait your turn," she said again, louder this time, like he was being rude. People turned their heads. A guy across the aisle raised his eyebrows, like, what's her problem? The lady next to Marcus frowned and whispered to herself, that wasn't nice. But Karen didn't care. She pushed her cart past Marcus, leaving him without water for now. Marcus didn't argue. He didn't say, "Hey, you just gave her water." He didn't yell or complain. He just lowered his hand and waited. He was patient. Super patient. A minute later, Karen came back with the cart she had to, because other people wanted drinks too. She didn't look at Marcus, but she tossed a plastic cup of water onto his tray table. It landed with a little plop, and some of it splashed out. She didn't say sorry. She didn't even look at him. She just kept moving, her cart squeaking down the aisle. Marcus picked up the cup, wiped the spill with his sleeve, and took a sip. He stayed quiet. Always quiet. But here's the big thing, he wasn't just sitting there doing nothing. Oh no. He had a plan. While Karen was busy being grumpy, Marcus reached into his pocket. He pulled out his phone, a regular one, not super fancy. It had a black case and a little scratch on the screen. He turned it on, and the light glowed on his face. He looked around quick, like he didn't want anyone to notice. Then he started typing. His fingers moved fast, tap, tap, tap on the screen. What was he writing? Who was he texting? Nobody could see, because he held the phone close. It only took a few seconds. Then he hit send, turned the phone off, and slid it back into his pocket. Done. Just like that. He leaned back in his seat and took another sip of water, acting like nothing happened. But something did happen. What was he up to? That's a mystery. A few rows back, someone noticed. There was a woman sitting there, maybe 5 seats behind Marcus. She was wearing a fancy suit like the kind people wear to important jobs. It was dark gray with a white shirt underneath. She had a little notebook on her lap and a pen in her hand. She looked smart, like she knew stuff. When Marcus pulled out his phone, her eyes locked on him. She stopped writing in her notebook and leaned over to her friend, a guy in a green jacket sitting next to her. "Is that him?" she whispered, real quiet so no one else could hear. Her friend turned his head, squinted at Marcus, and shrugged. "I dunno," he whispered back. "Maybe." They didn't know for sure, but they kept watching. Their eyes followed Marcus, then Karen, then Marcus again. Something was up, and they could feel it. Karen didn't see any of this. She was too busy acting like the queen of the skies. She pushed her cart to the front of the plane, telling people what to do. "Put your tray up," she barked at a kid playing with his toys. "No more drinks," she snapped at a man who asked for juice. She was loud and bossy, walking around like she owned the whole plane. Her shoes clicked on the floor, and her voice echoed down the aisle. She thought she was in charge. She thought everyone had to listen to her. In her mind, she was the big boss, and Marcus was just some annoying guy she could push around. "Oh, Karen, you're so wrong. Your crown, the one you think you're wearing, it's about to fall right off your head. Let's picture the plane for a second. It's flying high now, way up in the clouds. The engines hum, a low rumble you can feel in your seat. The lights inside are bright, and the air smells like snacks and coffee. People are doing their thing, reading, sleeping, watching little screens on the back of the seats. It's a long flight, so everyone's settling in. The seats are blue, kinda soft but not too comfy. The windows are small, showing bits of sky and fluffy white clouds. It's pretty outside, but inside? There's tension. You can feel it, like when you're waiting for something big to happen at school, like a surprise test or a fight in the hallway. That's what's going on here. Marcus is still in 12B. His water cup's half empty now, sitting on his tray table. He's looking out at nothing, just thinking. His face is calm, but his mind, it's busy. That text he sent, it's doing something. We don't know what yet, but it's important. He's not just some guy taking a trip. He's got a secret, remember? And that secret's starting to wiggle loose, like a present you're dying to unwrap. Karen's mean words and glares, they're pushing it out. She doesn't know it, but she's making this happen. Every time she snaps at Marcus, she's getting closer to a big surprise. Isn't that wild? The lady in the suit keeps watching. She's smart, she can tell something's different about Marcus. She nudges her friend again and whispers, "Look at him. He's too calm." Her friend nods, his green jacket crinkling as he leans forward. "Yeah," he says. He's not scared of her. They're right. Marcus isn't scared. Karen's yelling and glaring, "Don't shake him." Why? Because he's got that secret. He's got something up his sleeve, something big. The lady in the suit writes something in her notebook, real quick. She's keeping track. She knows this isn't just a normal flight anymore. Karen's at the front now, talking to another flight attendant, a younger guy with messy hair. He's holding a tray of cups, nodding at whatever she's saying. She's probably complaining about Marcus. That guy in 12B, she might be saying. He's a pain. The young guy doesn't argue, he just listens. Karen likes that. She likes when people do what she says. She turns around, glances down the aisle, and spots Marcus again. Her eyes narrow. She's still mad. She's still thinking he's the problem. She doesn't see the lady in the suit watching. She doesn't see Marcus's calm face. She's too busy being the queen, or at least, pretending to be. Let's zoom in on Marcus again. He's sipping his water, slow and steady. His hands are steady too, no shaking, no nerves. He's got his hoodie pulled up a little, keeping him cozy. He looks normal like any other passenger. But he's not. That phone thing? That text? It's a clue. He's up to something. Maybe he's telling someone about Karen. Maybe he's setting something up. We don't know yet, but it's exciting, right? It's like a puzzle, and we're finding the pieces one by one. Marcus isn't just sitting there taking Karen's rudeness. He's doing something about it, quietly, sneakily. The plane keeps flying. The clouds outside are thick now, like a big blanket of white. Inside, people are starting to notice the tension. The guy across from Marcus, the one who raised his eyebrows earlier, he leans over and whispers to his wife, "She's picking on him." His wife nods and says, "Poor guy. He didn't do anything." They're right. Marcus didn't. He's just trying to fly, like everyone else. But Karen's making it hard. She's making it a big deal. And every time she snaps at him, people see it. They're starting to wonder, why is she so mean to him? It's like a little wave spreading through the plane, people talking, watching, waiting. The lady next to Marcus, the one with gray hair, she's on his side too. She finishes her water and puts the cup down. She looks at Marcus and smiles, real soft. "You okay?" she whispers. Marcus nods and says, "Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks." His voice is quiet, but strong. The lady pats his arm, like a grandma would. She doesn't like Karen either. Nobody does, really. Karen's loud and rude, and Marcus is quiet and nice. It's easy to pick who you'd cheer for, right? But Karen doesn't see that. She's too busy strutting around, thinking she's winning. Let's talk about that text again. What could it be? Maybe Marcus is texting a friend, saying, "This lady's crazy." Or maybe it's something bigger, like a message to someone important. Maybe he's saying, "Hey, I need help." Or maybe, "Oh, this is fun." Maybe he's telling someone to watch what happens next. We don't know yet, but it's a little hint. A small reveal. Marcus isn't just a guy who sits there and takes it. He's got a plan. He's moving pieces we can't see yet. And Karen? She's walking right into it, step by step. The lady in the suit writes another note. Her friend leans over and says, What are you writing? She whispers back, just watching. He's interesting. They're like detectives now, trying to figure Marcus out. They don't know his secret yet, but they're close. They can feel it like when you're playing hide and seek and you know someone's nearby. Marcus doesn't see them watching. He's too busy staying calm, sipping his water, waiting. But they're part of this now. They're going to see something big, just like us. Karen's cart squeaks as she pushes it back down the aisle. She's coming toward Marcus again. Her face is still grumpy, her eyes still sharp. She stops a few rows away, handing out snacks to some kids. Here, take it, she says, not even smiling. The kids grab their crackers and say, thanks, but Karen's already moving. She's getting closer to Marcus. Will she snap at him again? Will she say something mean? Probably. That's how she is. But every time she does, she's making it worse for herself. She's building up to something, a big fall. And Marcus? He's ready for it? The plane hums along. The tension's thick now, like fog you can't see through. People are whispering more. She's rude, someone says. He's so nice, someone else adds. Marcus hears it all, but he doesn't react. He's steady. He's waiting. That text he sent, it's out there now, doing its job. What job? We'll find out soon. For now, it's a little secret, a small reveal that's making us wonder. Karen's crown is wobbling, ready to tumble. She doesn't know it, but she's in trouble. Big trouble. And Marcus? He's the one who's going to show her. Just wait, it's going to be so good. Okay, everyone, get ready, this is the best part of the story. The plane's been flying for a little bit now, high up in the clouds. It's only been 5 minutes since takeoff, but oh boy, those 5 minutes are about to change everything. Marcus Jones is still sitting in his seat, 12B, sipping his water like nothing's wrong. Karen, the mean flight attendant, is still walking around, acting like she's the boss of the whole plane. People are watching her, whispering about how rude she's been to Marcus. The air feels buzzy, like something big is coming. And guess what? It is. Up in the front of the plane, where the pilots sit, something's happening. The intercom, the little speaker that talks to everyone, crackles to life. It makes a funny noise, like bzzzt, and then a deep voice comes on. Attention, crew, the voice says. This is your captain. Everyone perks up a little. The captain doesn't talk a lot, so when he does, it's important. Karen's pushing her drink cart down the aisle when she hears it. She stops, her hands on her hips, and frowns. She's annoyed, super annoyed. She doesn't like being interrupted. She's busy being the queen of the plane, right? But the captain keeps talking, and his voice gets lower, more serious. We've got a special request from the ground, he says. A special request? From the ground? What does that mean? People look around, confused. Marcus doesn't move. He's still sitting there, cool as ever, like he knows something. Karen rolls her eyes and mutters, "What now?" under her breath. She thinks it's no big deal, just some silly thing she can ignore. But then the captain's voice comes back, and this time, it's sharp. "Flight attendant Karen Simmons," he says, "please report to the front immediately." Whoa. He said her name, Karen Simmons. That's her. Everyone hears it loud and clear. Heads turn. Eyes go wide. Something's up, and it's about Karen. Karen's frown gets bigger. She huffs, like a kid who doesn't want to do chores. Fine, she grumbles to herself. She leaves her cart right there in the aisle and starts stomping toward the front. Her shoes go click 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 on the floor, loud and fast. She's mad, she doesn't like being told what to do. She's used to telling other people what to do, not the other way around. As she walks, people watch her. The lady next to Marcus whispers, "What's happening?" The guy across the aisle shrugs, like, "I dunno, but it's big." Karen doesn't care who's watching. She's too busy huffing and puffing, acting like this is just a little bother. "Oh, Karen, you have no idea." Marcus. He's still in his seat, calm and quiet. He doesn't look worried. He doesn't look surprised. He just sits there, his water cup in his hand, watching Karen stomp away. His face is steady, no smile, no frown, Just cool. He's like a rock in a storm, nothing shakes him. Why? Because he knows what's coming. That text he sent earlier? That little thing he typed on his phone? It's all part of this. He's not just some guy on a plane. He's got a secret, a huge one, and it's about to come out. Karen's walking right into it, and she doesn't even know. Karen gets to the front of the plane. There's a little curtain there, separating the front part from where the passengers sit. She pushes it aside and steps through. The captain's waiting for her. He's a tall guy with a gray uniform and a serious face, like, super serious. No smile, no jokes, just stone cold. He's standing there with his arms crossed, looking down at Karen. She stops in front of him, still huffing a little. "What's this about?" she asks, her voice sharp. She's trying to act tough, like she's not scared. But the captain doesn't budge. He just stares at her for a second, letting the silence grow. It's spooky, like when a teacher catches you doing something bad and just looks at you. Then the captain speaks. His voice is low and strong, like thunder. "Karen," he says, "you've been recorded yelling at a passenger over a seat that was rightfully his." Boom. There it is. Karen's eyes go big. Her mouth opens a little, like she wants to argue, but nothing comes out. Recorded. Yelling. What's he talking about? The captain keeps going. "That passenger," he says, pausing for a second. "Marcus Jones, the new safety inspector for our airline." Double boom. The secret's out? Marcus isn't just some random guy in a hoodie. He's the safety inspector, a big deal. He's someone who checks the plane and the crew to make sure everything's safe and fair. And Karen? She just yelled at him like he was nobody. Back in the seats, people hear it all. The captain's voice is loud over the intercom, so everyone knows. Gasps ripple through the plane like little waves of surprise. "Oh," says the lady next to Marcus, her hand over her mouth. "What?" says the guy across the aisle, sitting up straight. The woman in the suit a few rows back, the one who was watching Marcus, she smiles a tiny bit and whispers to her friend, "I knew it." Her friend nods, his green jacket crinkling. Everyone's shocked. Karen's face? It goes white like paper white. She looks like she might fall over. She didn't see this coming. Not at all. Marcus stands up. Slow and steady, he gets out of his seat. He turns to face Karen, who's still up front with the captain. The whole plane goes quiet. You can hear the engines humming, but that's it. Everyone's watching Marcus now. He's tall and calm, his hoodie making him look regular, but he's not regular. He's powerful. He looks at Karen, his eyes steady, and says, "I didn't want to make a scene." His voice is clear and strong, not loud or mean, just honest. "But you did," he adds. "And I'm here to make sure no one gets treated like that again." Boom, there it is. The big reveal. Marcus isn't just a passenger. He's the guy who keeps the airline safe. And Karen messed with the wrong person. Let's rewind a tiny bit. 5 minutes ago, Marcus was just sitting there, taking Karen's rudeness. She yelled at him about his seat. She snapped at him about water. She glared at him like he was trash. And all that time, he stayed cool. Why? Because he knew who he was. He's the safety inspector. He's got a big job checking planes, watching the crew, making sure everything's good. He wasn't on this flight just to travel. He was working, watching, listening, testing. And Karen? She failed the test. Big time. She didn't know he was recording her, not with a camera, but with his phone. That text he sent? It went to someone important, telling them what was happening. And now, the captain knows too. Karen's still standing there, frozen. Her white face looks scared now. She tries to talk. I didn't," she stammers, but the captain cuts her off. "Enough," he says, his voice hard. "You've been rude to a passenger and inspector. We don't do that here." Karen's mouth closes. She's got nothing to say. She thought Marcus was just some guy she could boss around. She thought he was small, weak, easy to pick on. But he's not. He's big, way bigger than her. Not in size, but in power. He's the one who can say what's right and wrong on this plane. And he's saying Karen's wrong. People start talking. The lady next to Marcus claps her hands a little, like she's happy. Good for you, she whispers to him. The guy across the aisle nods, like, yeah, she deserved that. The kids a few rows up turn around in their seats, staring with big eyes. He's a boss, one of them says. The whole plane's buzzing now. Gasps turn into chatter. Everyone's excited. Marcus isn't just some guy in jeans and a hoodie anymore. He's the safety inspector, the hero of this flight. And Karen? She's not the queen anymore. She's just a mean lady who got caught. Marcus keeps standing. He's not smiling, but he's not mad either. He's just steady, like always. He looks at Karen, then at the captain, then back at the passengers. I'm here to help, he says, his voice loud enough for everyone to hear. No one should be yelled at like that. People nod. They agree. They've seen how Karen acted, snapping, glaring, being rude. And now they know Marcus isn't just taking it. He's fixing it. He's making sure it doesn't happen again. That's his job. That's his power. And Karen didn't see it until it was too late. Let's picture Karen again. She's up front, her hands shaking a little. Her uniform's still neat, but she doesn't look big anymore. She looks small, smaller than Marcus, smaller than everyone. Her sharp tongue? It's quiet now. She can't yell or snap. She's stuck. The captain's still staring at her, his face like a rock. He's not happy. We'll talk more when we land, he says to her, low and serious. Karen nods, but her eyes are wide. She knows she's in trouble, big trouble. She didn't just yell at a passenger. She yelled at the safety inspector. That's a huge mistake. Back in the seats, the woman in the suit is writing fast in her notebook. Her friend leans over. Told you he was special, she whispers. Her friend laughs a little. Yeah, you were right. They're excited. They guessed Marcus was more than he seemed. And they were spot on. The lady next to Marcus pats his arm again. You're a good man, she says. Marcus smiles at her, just a tiny smile, and says, thanks. He's not here to show off. He's here to do his job. But wow, what a way to do it. The plane's still flying, high above the clouds. The engines hum, the lights glow, and the air's cool. But inside, it's warm with excitement. People are talking louder now. She had it coming, a man says a few rows back. He's awesome, a kid adds. Everyone's on Marcus's side. They saw how calm he was, how he didn't fight back with yelling or anger. He just waited, and then, bam, the truth came out. He's the safety inspector. Karen's mean words didn't win. Marcus's quiet strength did. And that's why this is so cool. Karen's still up front, looking lost. She's not stomping anymore. She's not muttering. She's just standing there, waiting for the captain to tell her what's next. She knows she messed up. She knows everyone knows. The crown she thought she had. It's gone. It fell off when the captain said Marcus's name. And Marcus? He's standing tall, not loud or proud, just tall. He's the real boss here, even if he doesn't act like it. He's the one who keeps things safe, who makes sure people are treated right. And Karen didn't treat him right. Not at all. Let's think about that text again. 5 minutes ago, Marcus sent it? Who'd he send it to? Maybe the airline bosses. Maybe the captain's team on the ground. Whoever it was, they acted fast. They told the captain, hey, Karen's being mean to our inspector. And the captain listened. That's why he called her up front. That's why he dropped the big news. Marcus wasn't just waiting for nothing, he was waiting for this. He knew help was coming. He knew his secret would come out. And when it did, boom, it hit Karen like a big wave. She didn't see it coming, but everyone else loves it. The passengers keep talking. The guy across the aisle leans over to Marcus. You're cool, man, he says. Marcus nods. Thanks, he says, simple and quiet. He doesn't need big cheers. He's not here for that. He's here to fix things. And he just fixed something big. Karen's rudeness. It's done. She can't boss him around anymore. She can't boss anyone around like that, not with Marcus watching. He's the safety inspector, and he's got the power to stop her. That's the big reveal. Marcus isn't small. He's huge. And Karen's the one who looks tiny now. The captain steps back behind the curtain. He's done talking for now. Karen's still there, looking down at the floor. Her face isn't white anymore, it's red, like she's embarrassed. She should be. She yelled at the wrong guy. She thought she was the queen, but she's not. Marcus is the real deal. He sits back down in 12B, slow and easy. The lady next to him smiles again. Good job, she whispers. Marcus nods. The plane keeps flying, but everything's different now. The tension's gone, it's all excitement. Marcus's secret is out, and it's awesome. Karen's in trouble, and everyone's happy about it. What a twist, right? Stick around, there's more to come. Okay, everyone, we're at the end of this wild airplane story. It's time to see what happens after the big surprise about Marcus. The plane's still flying high in the sky, but everything's different now. Marcus Jones, the guy in the hoodie who's really the safety inspector, just showed everyone who he is. Karen, the mean flight attendant, is up front with the captain, and she's in big trouble. The passengers are buzzing, talking about what just happened. It's like a party in the air, everyone's excited, and Karen's not the queen anymore. Let's see how it all wraps up. The captain's standing there, tall and serious, with his arms crossed. His gray uniform looks sharp, and his face is still hard like a rock. He's not messing around. Karen's in front of him, her face red and her hands shaky. She just found out Marcus isn't some random guy, he's the safety inspector for the airline. She yelled at him, snapped at him, and made a big fuss over nothing. And now? The captain's had enough. He looks at her with those serious eyes and says, Karen, you're done. His voice is loud and clear, like a bell ringing. When we land, security will meet you. This is your last flight with us. Whoa. Did you hear that? Karen's done. She's out of a job just like that. The captain doesn't even wait for her to say anything. He's made up his mind. Karen's mouth opens, and she starts to talk. But I didn't, she stammers, her words all jumbly. She's trying to argue, trying to save herself. I didn't know, she says, her voice getting loud. But the captain shakes his head. No, he says. You don't yell at passengers like that. Especially not him. Nobody listens to her. The captain turns away, back to his little pilot room, and leaves Karen standing there. She's alone now, and she knows it's over. Back in the seats, people hear everything. The captain's voice came over the intercom again, so everyone knows Karen's done. And guess what? They love it. Passengers start clapping, clap, clap, clap like they're at a show. The lady next to Marcus, the one with gray hair, claps loudest. Yes, she says, smiling big. The guy across the aisle joins in, his hands smacking together. About time, he says. Even the kids a few rows up clap, giggling like it's a game. The whole plane's happy. They saw how mean Karen was, and now she's getting what she deserves. It feels good, like when a bully finally gets caught. Marcus. He's still cool as ever. He's standing by his seat, 12B, after telling Karen he's here to stop people from being treated bad. When the clapping starts, he looks around, a little surprised. He didn't expect this. He's not here for cheers, he's just doing his job. But the passengers? They're cheering for him anyway. He gives a tiny nod, like a quiet thanks, and sits back down. His hoodie's still on, his water cup still on his tray. He's calm and collected, like nothing big just happened. But it did. He's the hero of this flight, even if he doesn't act like it. Up front, Karen's not clapping. She's not smiling. She's just standing there, her face all red and sweaty. Her uniform's still neat, but she looks messy inside, like she's falling apart. She tries to talk again. This isn't fair, she says, loud enough for the front rows to hear. But nobody cares. The other flight attendant, the young guy with messy hair, looks at her and shrugs. He's not helping her. He's got his own work to do. Karen stomps her foot, like a kid having a fit, but it doesn't change anything. The captain said she's done, and that's that. Security's coming for her when the plane lands. She's out. Let's jump to the woman in the suit, the one a few rows back who was watching Marcus. She's sitting there with her notebook, her pen still in her hand. When the captain says Karen's done, she looks at her friend in the green jacket and nods. It's a slow nod, like, I knew it. She's smart, she figured Marcus was special way before this. Her friend grins and whispers, you called it? She did. She saw Marcus texting, saw how calm he was, and guessed he wasn't just a regular guy. Now she knows she was right. She writes one more thing in her notebook, maybe safety inspector wins. And closes it. She's happy too. Everyone is. The plane keeps flying. The clouds outside are white and fluffy, and the sun's shining bright. Inside, the lights are on, and the air's cool. People settle back into their seats, but they're still talking. She was so rude, a lady says a few rows up. He's awesome, a kid adds, playing with his toy plane. The guy across from Marcus leans over again. Good job, man, he says. Marcus nods and says, thanks. He's not big on talking, he's quiet, but he's glad people are on his side. They saw what happened, and they know Karen was wrong. That's all he needs. Time passes, maybe an hour or two. The plane starts to come down. The captain's voice comes on again. We're landing soon, he says. Get ready. People buckle their belts and put their trays up. The engines get louder, and the plane tilts a little. Outside, the clouds disappear, and the ground comes into view, little houses, roads, and trees. The plane's wheels touch the runway, bump, bump, and it slows down. It rolls to the gate, and the engines turn off. Everyone's ready to get off, but they're still buzzing about Marcus and Karen. It's not over yet, not quite. When the plane stops, the doors open. People start grabbing their bags, standing up, stretching. Marcus waits his turn, calm as always. He pulls his backpack from under the seat and slings it over his shoulder. The lady next to him smiles one more time. Take care, she says. You too, Marcus says back. He's polite, like always. Up front, though, things are different. Karen's still there, near the door. She's not helping passengers anymore, she's just waiting. And then, two people in dark uniforms step onto the plane. Security. They've got badges and serious faces. Karen Simmons, one of them says. Karen nods, her head low. Come with us, they say. And just like that, she's gone. The passengers watch as Karen walks off with security. She doesn't look back. Her shoes don't click anymore, they just shuffle. Her uniform's wrinkled now, and her face is tired. She's not the queen of the skies, she's just a lady who lost her job. People whisper as she goes. She deserved it, someone says. Yeah, another agrees. They're right. Karen was mean, really mean to Marcus. She yelled at him over his seat, snapped at him about water, and glared at him like he was nothing. But he wasn't nothing. He was the safety inspector, and she didn't know until it was too late. Now she's out, and justice is served. Marcus steps off the plane last. He's not in a hurry. He walks down the aisle, nodding to a few people who say thanks or good job. He's got his hoodie up, his backpack on, and his water cups empty in the trash. When he gets to the door, the young flight attendant, the one with messy hair, looks at him. Sorry about her, he says. Marcus shrugs. It's okay, he says. Just doing my job. And that's it, he's off the plane, walking into the airport. He's already thinking about his next inspection. Where's he going next? What's he checking? We don't know, but he's ready. That's Marcus, always ready. Back on the plane, the crew's cleaning up. The young flight attendant picks up cups and bags, moving fast. The other workers, ones who saw everything, start talking. We gotta be nicer, one says. Yeah, another agrees. He's watching. They mean Marcus. They know he's the safety inspector now, and they don't want to end up like Karen. Funny how fast things change, huh? 1 minute, they're following Karen's bossy orders. The next, they're trying to be better, nicer, kinder, because Marcus showed them what happens when you're not. He didn't yell or fight. He just did his job, and it fixed everything. Let's picture the airport for a second. It's big and busy, with people running around, dragging suitcases. The plane's parked at the gate, empty now except for the crew. Outside, the sun's setting, turning the sky orange and pink. Marcus is somewhere in there, blending into the crowd. He's not loud or flashy, he's just a guy in a hoodie. But he's the guy who made a difference. Karen's gone, probably sitting in an office with security, hearing why she's fired. She's not flying anymore. She's not bossing anyone around. She's done, and it's because of Marcus. The passengers from the flight. They're off now, telling the story. The lady with gray hair grabs her bag and says to her friend, "That was wild." The guy across the aisle texts his buddy, "You won't believe what happened." The kids run to their parents, shouting, "The mean lady got fired." Everyone's got a piece of it. They saw justice happen right in front of them. Marcus didn't just fix things for himself, he fixed them for everyone. Nobody wants a mean flight attendant yelling at them, right? And now, they won't have to worry about Karen. Let's think about the crew again. They're still on the plane, sweeping up crumbs and folding blankets. The young guy with messy hair looks at his friend, a lady with a blue apron. "We gotta watch out," he says. She nods. Yeah, he could be anywhere. They're talking about Marcus or someone like him. Safety inspectors don't tell you who they are. They just show up, watch, and check. Karen didn't know that, and it got her in trouble. Now the crew's smarter. They're nicer to passengers, already smiling more, saying please and thank you. It's small, but it's big. Marcus changed them without even trying hard. Back at the gate, the plane's quiet now. The passengers are gone, the crew's finishing up. Marcus is off somewhere, planning his next move. He's not mad at Karen, he's not that kind of guy. He just wanted her to stop being mean. And she did well, she had to, because she's fired. That's justice, right? When someone does something wrong, and they face the consequences. Karen yelled at the wrong person, and now she's out of a job. Marcus didn't have to yell back, he just let the truth come out. And the truth was enough. Let's imagine Marcus for a minute. He's walking through the airport, his backpack bouncing a little. He's got his phone in his pocket, that phone he used to text someone important. Maybe he's texting again now, saying, "It's done." Maybe he's calling his boss, telling them about Karen. Or maybe he's just walking, thinking about his next flight. He's not loud or showy. He's quiet, steady, strong. He's the safety inspector, and he's good at it. He made the plane better, not with machines or tools, but with fairness. That's his power. The airport's loud around him, people talking, announcements blaring. But Marcus is calm in the middle of it. He's got his hoodie up, his jeans on, his sneakers quiet on the floor. Nobody knows who he is, not the people rushing by, not the workers at the counters. He's a secret again, just like he was at the start. But we know. We saw what he did. He took down Karen not with a fight, but with the truth. And now the plane's a little nicer, the crew's a little kinder, and Karen's gone. That's justice served, plain and simple. So, what happens next? The plane gets ready for its next flight. New passengers come on, not knowing what happened. The crew smiles at them, real smiles this time. They don't want trouble. They don't want to end up like Karen. And Marcus? He's off to his next job. Maybe another plane, maybe another rude person to catch. He's always watching, always checking. That's what safety inspectors do. And Karen? She's out there, learning a lesson. She thought she was big, but she wasn't. Marcus was. Funny how fast things change when someone's watching, huh? The story's done, but it sticks with you. Marcus sat there, took the rudeness, and then bam, showed who he was. Karen's gone, and everyone's happy. The lady in the suit knew it all along. The passengers cheered. The crew learned something. And Marcus? He just keeps going, quiet and strong. That's how justice works sometimes, not loud, not fast, but steady and sure. What a ride, right? Hey, everyone. We've made it to the end of this awesome airplane story. Wow, what a ride, right? Marcus Jones, the guy in the hoodie, turned out to be the safety inspector, and Karen, the mean flight attendant, got what was coming to her. She's out of a job now, and Marcus is off to his next adventure. The plane's crew is nicer, and the passengers are happy. But before we say goodbye, let's talk about what this all means. There's something big to learn here, something that can help you in your own life. So, grab a seat and listen up. Here's the thing, Marcus didn't need to yell or fight back. Nope, not once. Karen was loud and bossy. She snapped at him about his seat, hissed at him about water, and glared at him like he was nothing. She thought she could push him around because he was quiet. But Marcus? He didn't get mad. He didn't shout. He didn't even argue much. He just stayed calm, sipped his water, and let Karen keep going. And guess what? That's how he won. Karen dug her own hole. She kept being mean, kept acting like a bully, and then she fell right in. The captain found out, security came, and boom, she was done. Marcus didn't have to lift a finger. He let her mess up all by herself. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Sometimes, the strongest people don't say much. They don't need to scream or punch or make a big fuss. They just wait quiet and steady and let the truth come out. Marcus knew who he was. He knew he was the safety inspector. He had power, but he didn't show it off. He didn't brag or wave it around. He kept it secret until the perfect moment. And when that moment came, when the captain said his name over the intercom, it was like a big light turning on. Everyone saw the truth. Karen couldn't hide from it, and Marcus didn't have to fight for it. The truth did all the work. So, what's that mean for you? Think about it. Maybe sometime, someone's mean to you, like a kid at school who picks on you, or a grown-up who talks down to you. Maybe they laugh or yell or try to make you feel small. It's easy to want to yell back, right? To get mad and shout and fight. But Marcus shows us another way. You don't always have to be loud to be strong. You can stay calm. You can wait. You can let them keep going, digging their own hole, until everyone sees what's really happening. Because sometimes, the person who's quiet, who doesn't fight back, is the one holding all the cards. You never know who's got a secret, who's got power they're not showing yet. Imagine you're on that plane with Marcus. Someone's being rude to you. Maybe they say your backpack's dumb or your shoes are old. You could snap back and say, "No, you're dumb." But what if you just smiled and waited? What if you knew something they didn't like Marcus did? Maybe you're good at something they don't expect. Maybe you're brave or smart or kind in a way they can't see. You don't have to prove it right away. You can let them talk, let them act big, and then when the time's right, the truth comes out. They'll be surprised, just like Karen was. And you'll be the one standing tall. Next time someone tries to push you around, remember Marcus. Picture him in his hoodie, sitting in 12B, taking Karen's rudeness with a cool face. He didn't need to yell. He didn't need to cry. He just waited, and justice came. You can do that too. Be patient. Be strong inside. Hold your cards close, those special things about you, and let the world figure it out later. Because here's the secret, the loudest person isn't always the strongest. Sometimes, it's the quiet one who wins. And that's a pretty neat trick, huh? So, what did you think of that twist? Marcus being the safety inspector, wasn't that wild? I bet you didn't see it coming. Karen sure didn't. She thought she was the boss, but oops, she was so wrong. It's fun when the story flips like that, right? Tell me what you think below. Did you like it? Did it make you cheer? And here's a question for you, have you ever seen karma hit someone that fast? Like, when someone's mean and then bam, they get in trouble right away. Maybe at school, or with a friend, or even on TV. Share your stories with me, I'd love to hear them. This story's done, but it's not the end for us. I've got more tales to tell, more surprises, more heroes, more fun. Marcus showed us how to be strong without being loud, and maybe next time, we'll meet someone else who's got a cool secret. So stick around, okay? Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet, and let's keep the adventure going. See you in the next story, friends. Bye for now.